All right. So this video is pretty self-explanatory. I use ChatGPT to create my own custom calendar application. And I'm not saying that you should do this, uh, but I'm not saying you shouldn't. At the same time, I think you should use ChatGPT. Should you use it to do everything for you? It depends, really. Depends on what you're doing. If you're making like an industry application, then probably not, because you need to make your code really reliable. But if you're just making something for your own personal use, why not? Um, so that's kind of what I did. Um, I I know I'm not saying I know nothing about programming at all, or I'm sorry, not programming, but I'm not saying I know nothing about web development. Um, I still know quite a bit about web development, so that probably helps me make the app. Um, so having an understanding in what you're trying to, the programming language or the environment you're trying to use can be helpful, so that if ChatGPT does have an error, you can tell it, "Oh, well, you did this. You shouldn't have done that." Yeah, I found that when writing an application with ChatGPT, it's best not to have it write out like a bunch of code at once, maybe like a function at a time or a small file. And it's better to do one step at a time, especially if you're making a large application, than it is to do all of it at once. So, like if you're making a calendar app, maybe the first step might just be to get the date for your time zone. The next step might be to make the grid cells, or whatever. Uh, so this is kind of what my application looks like. Uh, you have some grid cells. You have you can select the different cells. You have events here. That's what these boxes are called. You can edit the events if you click on them. You can remove them if you want. They're all stored with a REST API. So if I go to my website, and by the way, I made this website not available for public anymore, just because I'm doing a lot of things. And yeah, I just decided to make it just like a local thing for my so for computers I have at my house. So I'm sorry about that. Eventually, maybe I'll make another website so that other people can get my Git repositories at, because right now they're at you know they're right here. So uh, just gonna apologize for that it's not up, but it is what it is. So, anyways, you notice that if I add an event on here, it updates in like certain time intervals. Uh, so if I add an event here, maybe add a tag, call it 1, 2, name it whatever I want. And you can see that it updates here too, which is really cool. And then I could add another event, eventful, probably event. Boom. Edit whatever time I want. Bada bing, bada boom. Make the tag bada bing. I can also filter by tags. So if I search one, it'll only show me tags with the name one, or if I'm searching for bada bing or bada bing, it'll only show me tags with bada bing, which is cool. And if I click on a cell and press space, it'll show me notes for that day if they're available. If they're not available, it'll say notes not found, just like that. Also, I can archive events like that. So now they're saved in the archive, and you can see that everything I'm doing should be updating. Even on here, see, look, it updated. I didn't refresh the page, and it should be updated the fact that it's saved in the archive. This is a Node.js application that's just, all it is doing is loading the web page. They say RJS, Node.js. So it's not that crazy. Also, if I add something to notify me, so say notify, it'll also give me a notification in DWM here. So let's say what it's 8:39. Let's set it for 8:41. I'm sure this video will go longer than 8:41, so eventually we'll hear that notification when it's getting 8:41. And I think it usually happens 5 minutes before, but yeah, the update, the notification logic is kind of weird. There's some apps I have running on here that it kind of integrated with this. So I'll kind of show you that actually. So I'll open up a new buffer. I think I can do it this way. Users, oops. Local spin, what is it called? Oh, there it goes. There's my notify event. Boom. So, yep. Bin slash calendar notify. It's a little script that basically pulls the JSON from the website and then stores it locally, and then it'll just continuously checking to see if that event's coming in up, and if it is, then notify me. Pretty not all that crazy. Oh shoot, I closed out of that. Oh well. Yeah. And I also have this backend which works with the REST API. Uh, so I don't know if I mentioned this, but anything in section a day that's something that's before today will automatically get put in old.json. So if I can show my REST API, I don't know why did that open up two tabs. That was weird. I thought I hit that once. Go to the REST part. It's the REST APIs. You see old.json has this event, and then events.json has the other three events, and then archive.json. I mean, I could have done a better job of doing this, but whatever. Has, the eventful event. Clever names, I suppose. Uh, and there's a cron job that, so there's an event here, right? And then the next day passes. When tomorrow comes at 1 a.m., this event will be moved to old.json. And that's what it's not visible on here. Let me pull it from the server. User slash local bin. It's a cron job that runs at 1 a.m. Every day. And yeah, this just is a cron job that runs at 1 a.m. every day that pushes the events from today into old.json. And it does that every day. And I think that might help, when I have to search events and whatever. It might speed up the process, I suppose. Maybe not. I'm not really sure. And I also have another application called Notes that works with this. If I do Notes E, it has a default. There's a default template for the notes, and it has this little script here, this doc info, and I have this doc info runs with these certain events, or listens for certain things, and gets certain messages, or posts certain messages. I'm sorry. Because of the cross origin stuff, because when I show notes, this is an iframe on a different part of the website, and was it cross origin issues? So I try to post messages to prevent that. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. I'm not a web development expert. I just know about it. And I know probably more than just a random person does, but I'm not saying I'm an expert at it. So yeah, it's just that's what these are. These are the actual notes, and they're stored in this directory. So, and what happened to notes study? So when I do notes E, it just edits the note for today. And if the note already exists for today, it'll pull the note for today from the server, and then I'll edit whatever's there. But if a note doesn't exist for today, it'll use the default template unless I specify a different template. So I can change this and then update it, right quit, and then it'll send it to the server, and bada bing, bada boom. It says I can change this, which is not what it said before. And if I wanted, like, say, make change the one for the 30th, I can do notes E. I already have done this before, and then it'll pull the note for the 30th. Then I can say I'm changing you. Write that, save that note, and then it might not happen right away. And it is kind of iffy on the reloading of notes. Sometimes I have to do reload frame like that, or if I refresh the page, yeah, I think I'll have to do reload frame. It sucks that I got to do that, but I wish there was a better way to do it. I've been getting the URL and changing the source for the iframe, the URL source in the iframe with a try catch block. Well, I do a fetch and a try catch block, and I tried that, but it doesn't actually seem to help out. And before that, I was just trying to I did something else, but I don't remember. I tried doing a onload, but didn't really didn't really work. So that's that. I already showed you that I can filter by tags. Tag, notify. I think I already showed you that I can archive events, and then I can also unarchive them. So I can put notify back that date, unarchived. So I don't think there's much else to say. Oh yeah, there is another thing. If I click on each one of these cells, see how this hash updates? So it'll like select one for a specific day. I can also change this, and it'll update the calendar to that day, which I think is super helpful, because like if I'm in my terminal, for example, I want to start, send a link to a specific day, I could do that here. Like, okay, well, I want to send a link to the 27th. Why not? 5th month, 20th day. Bada boom. It shows me that. And I can look at whatever notes were on that day, whatever events were on that day. And it's super quick. And I could link that wherever I want. So, yeah, find that super helpful and cool. Yeah. So, I think that's it.